For example, there is a copyrighted document available on the net, and the AI has done some jugglery of the words and created another document. Now, who is responsible for this? Whether the AI tool or the owner of the AI platform or the person who is using it. So it means that you have to go deeper into the system to understand this thing.
A very warm welcome to the Super Lawyers channel once again. As the journey of Super Lawyers as an educational platform grows and we get insights from people who have been there in the legal fraternity, we are fortunate enough today to have Mr. Ajay Sharma Ji and to gain his guidance, who has been the chief legal advisor in several distinguished organizations. He is currently the chief legal advisor of Corporate Legal, stands as a distinguished figure in corporate law with an overwhelming experience of over 35 years in the intricate landscapes of legal and human resource complexities. A very, very warm welcome, sir, from the entire team of Super Lawyers here. We are really thrilled to have you here today. We want to learn a lot from you. We want to spread more of such education to people.
Thank you, Akash, for having me here. I'll be happy to share my experiences for last 3.5 decades. I always call it 3.5 because if I say 35 years, it looks, I am quite old. So 3.5 looks slightly lesser. So 3.5 decades. Whatever questions you have in mind and whatever you feel is going to be useful for the audience, especially the young lawyers, I'll be happy to contribute to that.
Thank you so much, sir. This would be slightly a nostalgic retreat for you because the first question is, even after having 3.5 decades of experience in corporate law, if I may ask you, sir, why did you decide to pursue law?
So, I don't have a full corporate law experience in 35 years, but yes, when I was doing my post-graduation, at the time I did my post-graduation in psychology, but I wanted to understand the legal side also. So I joined law after doing my master's, and I did law long time back in 1992 from Delhi University Law Center 1. But that law remained with me. So once you study law, it is not that you have forget that law, it remains with you. So when I entered into the world of HR, that became an edge for me as compared to the other HR professionals who were only the MBA HR. I had the degree in psychology, the PGD in HR, plus also the law. So I started exploring how I can use the law, especially the labor law and employment laws. And then the interest continued. So I had a long stint, and in between, I worked for government organizations, I worked for the private organizations in India and also abroad. But that knowledge of law, or rather inclination to learn the law of the land, was always there. So when I was in Europe, I had around 13, 14 countries for which I was doing the HR. Each country had their own law. And it was very interesting for me or easy for me to adapt to the local system and understand their laws and provide the solutions for the corporate. I also had a lot of exposure towards the contract law because I worked mainly with the semiconductor companies. So there were a lot of software licensing which was there. There was a lot of patent work which was there. The semiconductor industry is heavily into the patent writing. So my job was basically to encourage the employees to write the patents, helping them understand that how the idea can be converted into the patent, helping the patent attorney also to take it to the next level, which means that if the idea is not patentable, then what is the next thing? What they should do to create more innovation to bring that patent. So it was more of a corporate angle. I was not a legal person per se, but I had that legal acumen which I was using in my world of work. So that's the kind of journey I had. And it remained with me. And then when I'm getting into my age where I thought that let me become an advocate. So I got myself registered with the Bar Council of Delhi. And now I'm a proper advocate also. I can practice. So I practice in the Delhi District Courts and also the High Court.
Sir, this was definitely very encouraging and it was filled with optimism when you said that once you have read the law, it never leaves you. I guess this particular phrase will resonate with all of us who are a part of this fraternity. And it also amazes me that how even though when we are changing or shifting career course from one domain to other, knowledge of law is such an edge. Just like you said that in case of management, where the primary profile was MBA for others, you had that additional touch to it. It just really highlights how the multidisciplinary angle of this profession works out. So,
Yeah.
sir, my next question would be related to your trajectory and also something which is a very important question to someone who has a wealth of experience like you, who has seen the change, especially the technology driven change, is that what do you think is the contemporary attitude of the lawyers or Indian lawyers towards this robust, disruptive technology change?
I think it's not an issue with only the Indian lawyers. It is worldwide. I have connections world over, so I talk to the lawyers in US also. And there are some lawyers who are more tech savvy as compared to the other lawyers. See, the main thing is it is not that if the technology is available, say legal technology, if I use that word, legal tech, directly as a lawyer, I will go and just adapt to it. I have to see the value of it also. So in last 3-4 years, when the technological changes started coming, especially after the generative AI has come, more and more solutions are available. But some solutions are very rudimentary in nature, like basic case management. Now that is like automation part of it. I'll not say it's a high tech solution, but it's an automation which can improve your productivity as a law firm or a lawyer, personal lawyer. So each lawyer looks at this technology as what is the value it is bringing to me. We have a basic maxim in the management, we call it WIFM. What is in it for me? Why should I adapt to the technology, whether it is helping me or it is creating another? It's not that just because a new fad has come, so I'll go for it. So as a legal tech professional, so those companies who are providing the legal tech solution, they have to also think that whether they are adding to the productivity or they are just adding a solution. So the core is that whether the technology is providing me a solution or it is just another technology. That is one thing. Once the lawyer understands that, I think they will certainly adapt to it. The second thing is, law has a career trajectory that people start at the early age, then 3-4 years, there is a struggle to establish themselves, and then they start climbing up. When they reach that level, for example, at today's age, those who are in their late 40s or late 30s, these are the lawyers, those who are already too much into their legal work. They do not have time to go and learn another technology. So technology has to come to them that how I can provide you this solution. I tell you a incident. In 96 or 7, I was working with a company and I was told that let's introduce the email in the organization. Now, everybody said, why email? When we have a very simple method of writing a memo, sending it through a peon to the other person, and a GM, why should I get into these kind of things? So we organized a 3-day program, taking the GMs and VPs to a lonely place and created a local network to help them learn. They still did not understand the advantage of it. Then we said that it is not just writing or something. You are dependent on your secretary to write something. Now it is you who can do that. So if I take the simile to the legal profession, a lot of legal drafting is done by the people, those who are in the paralegal side. If as a lawyer, I can draft using the AI, it helps me. So I see a value which is coming to me. And generative AI is also at their nascent stage. So if you do something using the Gemini or Perplexity, or I use 2-3 platforms, Meta AI also, the results are not perfect. So as a lawyer, I feel that, oh, maybe, there is something which is not going to be perfect for me. So why should I spend my energy in that? So I think it is a process of evolution and slowly things will start coming to that. I will not say that it is Indian versus overseas lawyers. It is the change management which we have to see. Now, who can play a part in this? First, the people, those who are providing the solution. So legal tech professionals have to come more closer to the lawyers. You can't create a legal tech solution by sitting separately in a silo. Second, Bar Council of India, they can also get into the system. They can also see that what kind of solutions are available, what needs to be done. One is that what is available. Second is what needs to be done. As a lawyer, what is my requirement? Maybe my requirement is something else and you are giving me, a different thing which you thought it is easy to develop. So that's his bar council. Third is the lawyer themselves. They have to engage with the young lawyers. I was thinking that can't there be some roles like legal analyst in all the law firms or with the senior lawyers, those who are using all these legal tech tools and helping the senior lawyers so that they start appreciating how it works. Today it is all fad. Oh, use AI, it can do anything. No, it can't do anything unless you give the proper prompt to it. So it is garbage in, garbage out if you don't use it properly. So in a summary, I'll say that it's a process of change. All the stakeholders have to help in the change management process. And slowly, the lawyer community will start adopting and adapting to this new system.
Thank you, sir, for elaborating in details on this very pertinent question of the day, that is it a problem in the attitude or is it a problem in the change which is coming in? So I guess, sir, that's the beauty of your trajectory, that you have been in both the substantive base of law and you know the procedural management so well that you have actually summarized how change management has to be the core focus in today's times. Yeah. It's not just for corporates or organizations. It has to be at the most macro level, like the Bar Council, and at the most micro levels as well, the other coordinating management chains. You have mentioned some of the inputs that it's not only a domestic problem, it's a global problem. Taking this issue a bit forward, my next question would be, sir, since you have this entire diverse experience of working both with domestic as well as global international organizations, consultancies, and firms, how do you think is the international work culture different from the Indian setup?
So we have to see in two different perspectives. One is the lawyer as an individual entity, and second, the law firms per se. We have different sort of rules in India. We are governed by the Bar Council of India. Whatever are their rules, currently they are the Bible for us and we have to follow them. The things are different in US or in Europe if we talk about that. So there are certain things which are different there. For example, law firms are treated like a profit center or a business kind of thing. So everything moves in the same manner. In India, law firms are normally the individual lawyer centric because if you see, even the names are also followed X and Company, X and Associates, etc. So it means that the person who started the law firm remains at the top. So the new management practices, for example, if somebody who is getting aged and reaching say 70s or so, they have to be following some kind of succession planning, that how the next generation should take it. That is one basic level of the management I'm talking about. Second is abroad, what is written is followed, which means that they are very cut and dry. I think we are very flexible Indians. So we try to go extra mile to help the client sometimes. There is a benefit in the Indian way of working also, that we are flexible, we are adaptive. We know how things work here in India. Because law is not just a mechanical thing, it is a lot of emotional things are also there. We are dealing with humans here. So we have to be engaging with the people also there. So it's a mix of that, go with the system. So system approach has to be adopted, which means that it is the system which is driving the things rather than people driving the thing. That's a Western culture we should adopt into our system. And flexibility, going extra mile, is the Indian way that we should merge with this system. Then we can have the very eclectic way of the best from all the sources we can use. That's my submission here.
That is a very, very beautiful way of describing, sir. And it is very relatable for everyone that in India, we are going the extra mile. We are taking that extra efforts for our client-centered solutions. That's the beauty of maybe legal culture in India as well. So, sir, tagging along with this one is that when you have described this difference in mechanism of working or the difference in attitude, what do you think should we learn from the global work culture?
No, as I said, system driven approach. That's very important. We have to see the productivity of the people also. That is how things are taken here. If you expect a lawyer to work 12 hours, 13 hours, 18 hours a day, there is a burnout which is going to happen. And at the young age, people are actually working that high. So we have to see how to create a work life balance also. Law is a profession. It is not that you are there to just struggle and work hard to earn some bucks. Third is, I think the Bar Council is trying, and also I saw recent judgment in Madras High Court that there has to be minimum stipend paid to the young lawyers. I fully support that because what happens if you are not given that much of amount of money, the good people will try to break into other areas. They may start with the law, but then they find that there are other jobs or the other professions which are high paying, and they will get into that. So the minimum threshold has to be there, which is there very much outside India. The fourth is adoption of the technology to improve the productivity. That's very important. I'm very happy to see that we have e-courts now, we have e-filing system. People are encouraged to come on the VC to go through this. That's a very remarkable change which has happened in last 3-4 years. And our CGI, he is very much supporting that we should adapt to the new system. We are going for ODR kind of stuff. So things are moving in the right direction. We are trying to follow what is there. But still, a lot of things are required. For example, we say that why can't we have the world-class arbitration center in India? Recently, the Gift City has started the International Arbitration Center in Ahmedabad. Now, those things are going to come because if we see that why we should go to Singapore for the arbitration, can't we have the similar system and processes here in India? But I'm not saying we should ape the Western world or the rest of the world, but we should bring the best from there, use our ingenuity and the way we have been performing our task, the passion which we have towards our client. So it's an intermix of both, which can be a good solution.
You have highlighted the very right thing, sir, the best of both the worlds. If we can bring in the best from whatever we are learning outside globally and then also drive our local systems to that stature. And my next question would be following with that. Sir, since you have been involved with providing unique technology solutions, you have been involved with HR automation, and much of your legal advisory also rests on technology. And we have this digitalization push in India also going on from quite a lot of time, especially since after COVID, this thing has increased. Sir, we would like to know your views on how important do you think is this digital and technological upskilling in lawyers? And what would be your advice, or how would you manage this entire technology upskilling operations in your team or maybe in your organizations? We would love to hear your insights, sir.
Okay. So learning is a lifetime system. You can't stop. Even I am 59 now and I am still attending few classes on a regular basis. And the good part is that if you compare the legal education in an alternate channel, I'm not talking about the colleges, I'm talking about the alternate channels. There are some institutes who are offering. It's actually very cheap. Cheap means in terms of money, which means it is lesser expensive as compared to the rest of the education if you want to go for. So I'll certainly say that young lawyers, including my team also, they should always go on refresher courses on things because law is an evolving field. One of the good thing in law is that it is never a stagnant system. There's no plateau in this. There's always a new learning which you need to go. That is one. Second is in this new criminal laws, the three set which has come. If you go through the act and the different clauses there, you will find that everywhere there is an electronic evidence which has been used now. So electronic evidence is not a technology law. It is one of the evidence, one of the form of the evidence, and it is there everywhere. So whether it is a criminal case, whether it's a civil case, whether it is a family court case, electronic evidence is going to be there. So people in the law fraternity or the legal community, they have to actually understand that what is the electronic evidence, how this is secured also, which means cyber forensic part of it. It's very important. If you look at the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam, they have written that it is equivalent to the evidence, but there is a certificate which is going there where you have to mention that source of the evidence, from where it was taken, what is the hash value of that. Now, if a lawyer doesn't understand what is the hash value, how will the person present the case in the court of law? So adaptation to the technology is very important. And I always encourage my team, including myself, to always go through what is available on the net. Nowadays, so much information is available on the net, but make a structured approach. If I'm learning the new criminal laws, what are the things? I should say that, okay, these are the things which is a law change. And this is the thing which is coming on the technology side, which is electronic evidence side. Both the things I need to learn. And that is a process which will continue. So this is one example I have given. Otherwise, now there are two more acts which are going to come in near future. One is the Digital India Act, which may replace the IT Act. And second is the AI Act, which is going to come. Now, everything is interrelated. If the AI law is going to be there, we have to see that whether the AI will be an entity or AI will be a support system. For example, there is a copyrighted document available on the net, and the AI has done some jugglery of the words and created another document. Now, who is responsible for this? Whether the AI tool or the owner of the AI platform or the person who is using it. So it means that you have to go deeper into the system to understand this thing. So my suggestion to the people and including me and my team is always be on the edge. Spend at least 3 to 4 hours in a week in learning new things or what are the changes which are happening in the world of law.
I really liked the way you have presented that there is no plateauing in the learning curve in the legal fraternity. It's always rising, and so is upskilling. There's no end to it. And sir, your words are truly powerful when you say that even after having so much experience, you still choose to learn. And that itself is such a motivational dialogue for all youngsters like me and even everyone else in this fraternity at whichever stage they might be in. Sir, you have talked extensively on this particular technology change, how the upcoming acts are going to further bring in such disruptive change with which we need to adapt to. On the very same lines, I would like to ask, sir, that with this immense importance of data in today's world, as is often said that data is the new oil, what are your views on the data legislation framework with reference to India and the other jurisdictions which you might have worked upon?
So I'll slightly twist this sentence. Data is oil. It is actually a fuel. It can boost, it can bring energy into the system, and it can burn also. So it is both the positive and the negative side which has data. Data, we started working in the corporate world with the GDPR, and earlier we had a SOX compliance also. So SOX constantly. So data privacy is not a new area. Yes, we are coming out with the new laws now. So GDPR has taken some root in the European world. Then CCPA is there in the US. India, the DPDP Act, it is not yet enacted, but it has been passed. So it is anyway, sooner it is going to come. The problem is at both ends, the person who is giving the data and the person who is taking the data and processing it. How many of us, when we get an app on the mobile phone, we go through all the clauses or all the things which are mentioned in the system? We simply accept that. Whenever we are opening a new website, it says accept the cookies or reject the cookies. We don't know what is there to reject and what is there to accept. So the education about the data privacy has to first go down to the level of the user. I should be aware of what is my personal data, what is the sensitive personal data, and to whom I am giving, for which purpose I am giving this. Do I know that I have a right to get it erased later? Do I know that if somebody, I get a call or a message from someone, and I know that I did not give this information to the person, so it means somewhere it got leaked. So do I know that there is a susceptibility of the data breach? First, as a user. Second, those who are taking the data. Anyway, once the law is enacted, there will be more push on implementation. But even GDPR also, I don't know how many companies have been prosecuted for data breach violation. So the implementation of the law is enforcement of the law is equally important there. So data is certainly a fuel. We get into so much of data. There are so much of data available. Daily we are interacting. Even now we are interacting. It's a data which is getting visual data going on. So user of the data and the originator of the data, which means me as a person, both are need to be educated to understand that what is the impact of this data on me, on the system, and in general of the world.
This was very insightful, sir, when you talked about the cookies issue, especially. Everyone encounters in whichever field the person is. It's so commendable that you have been indulged in diverse roles. Your experience in different sectors has always given you this push to see things with such clarity and to advise with such clarity. I am really excited to ask you that as a professional who has indulged in diverse roles from law to tech to HR automation, what is your success mantra?
I think being a learner, lifelong learner is the first thing. I think that's very important because if you feel that you have learned everything and you have reached that level, it means you are a dead person. So that quest to learn should always be on. Even on the last day, you should be always thinking that, okay, what is that I missed? Can I learn something in next 10 minutes also? No. So that's one thing. The second is, I think as a professional, we have to see how to balance the work and life. I was also like any other youngster. I used to be always, working long hours. That created some trouble to my health also. I fortunately lived in Sweden for a few years. So I had one cultural mentor there. He was a very simple person, had around 55 patents to his name, mostly related to 3GPP, these telecom patents. He once asked me, why do you people work so hard in India? Or Indians, why do you people work so hard? So I said, because we don't have that social security system which you have here in Sweden. So he said, but look at the average age in India. It's almost around 70 or so. Till 60 years of age or 65, you are struggling, slogging, and trying to earn more money so that your future is secured. After that, you get into some kind of disease. And then one day you leave this world. So where is the life in this? You will be surprised to know, Akash, that in Sweden, there is a forced leave to all the employees. They have to take leave during the summer because there is only 3 months summer. That's the time when you can see the sun most of the time. Otherwise, rest of the 9 months, the sun is very, very less. And few months, there is no sun at all. So they say that you have to spend that time. You have to spend time for yourself, for your family. I'm not saying we should ape them, but there is a good learning in that. That as a professional, sometimes we feel that the profession or the company is the only thing in our life. No, when you turn 60 or when you get into the old age, it is your own body which is going to be there with you, nobody else. The pain, if you are going to feel, it will be your body only which will feel the pain. Nobody else will feel the pain. Neither your client nor your organization, nobody is going to. So I think work-life balance is a very important thing. I'm saying as if I have practiced that, but I'm trying to practice that. I have also gone through the same rut of a professional. And the third thing, which is very important, is having a professional integrity. I never compromised on professional integrity, which means that if I see that it is wrong, you should say it is a wrong thing and don't practice that. The world is not going to change even if you change and try to twist the thing and see that nobody is looking at me. So, let me circumvent certain things. No, 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 no. The first gatekeeper is you, your own conscious. So professional integrity is very important to be a good professional. at least you should sleep at night and say that I have never done any wrong in my life. So these are the three things: that continuous learning, work-life balance, and third, professional integrity. These are the things which are always going to help any person grow. These are worldwide wisdom. It is not driven by or created by me. I have also learned from others.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Very perfectly summarized that towards the end of life, it is just us with our own bodies, and there would be no one else with us during that time. So you have focused tremendously on this sustainability, which is something we would definitely want to learn from you, having such a long, shining career in various sectors. That how do you view sustainability, sir? I mean, sustainability in your work, sustainability on personal levels. In general, what is sustainability to you?
So I think sustainability is that when you use less number of resources and still able to maintain what you want to achieve. So that's sustainability. It can be environmental sustainability. It can be your personal sustainability also, that, how with lesser resources or with minimum resources, you are able to manage yourself. We talk about a lot of sustainable issues. It is actually the goals of the United Nations also. They have the SDPs, those 17 goals. So sometimes we forget that we are here to contribute back to the world also. We only think that we are here to sustain ourselves. Self-sustainability is important, but if the temperature is going to rise 2 degrees in next few years, what will we go through? What will the next generation go through at that time? In Delhi, we are suffering from the water crisis, like in other cities also. So there also, so resource conservation is very important. It can be your own personal resource conservation, or it can be general, climatic. It can be your home. It can be your office. It can be your firm. It can be your office where you are working. Wherever you feel that I'm not saying you should get into minimalist attitude, but be careful that what you are doing, you are helping the climate back. You have responsibility towards this world also in which you are living. So that's my basic suggestion to people, that understand the resources you are consuming and try to sustain with those.
Thank you for your response, sir. It really feels like learning from a wealth of experience. I'm sure that all of us are trying to imbibe these words of wisdom from you as well. Lastly, I would definitely like to ask, what would be your suggestion for young lawyers, first gen lawyers, and everyone who is aspiring or has just entered and has started their journey with this legal fraternity?
I think the first thing is why you are entering into the world of law. That's very important for you to understand. Are you here to earn money, or are you here to provide justice to the system? Or you are one of the evangelists who is trying to support the legal system? That's very important. I have been in the world of work for last 35 years. I have seen people, those who become engineers, but they are not engineers by heart. They do not have that logic. But just passing the exam doesn't mean you are an engineer. By passing MBBS, it doesn't mean that you are a doctor. You're a doctor by definition. But unless you have the inner spirit to serve humanity or to provide that medical service, it is not there. So first, the purpose should be clear. Why you're getting into the world of law. The second is that it is difficult for these people to get internship. Sometimes I feel that the system has to be there to support these people. So I'll say that not to the young lawyers, but to the lawyers, those who are seasoned and those who have established themselves, give opportunities to the young lawyers. It is very important, because there is no other platform to learn law than the court of law or the firms where they are working. It is the live thing which you have to experience. By reading the books, you cannot learn the law. It is a practice. That's why we call it, we are practicing the law. Practicing means you have to have a field where you can practice. It cannot be in vacuum. So that's the second thing, which means that people should try to get an opportunity whenever they get any smaller opportunity to learn the actual part, which means the practice of the law. And third is that world is changing very fast. World is changing very fast. So if you feel you are not meant for law, try other profession. Don't remain there if you do not have that logic building in your mind. You do not have that basic thing of advocacy which is required in the system. You cannot have empathy with the client to understand what is their pain point, the technology which is required to understand the law and helping the law productivity. Then change the profession. If you have done law, it doesn't mean that you have to continue to be in that. Sundar Pichai did his BTech in metallurgy, but today he is the CEO of Google. So sometimes education should be for development of your mind, not just to get the employment. Once you have done the law, it means that it has helped you build the logic. You are more aware of the environment and your surroundings, and use that in other system also. Nobody stops you in becoming good manager or good technocrats or these things. So what I'm saying is, First, focus your thoughts whether you have that inner urge to become a lawyer or not. Second, try to get the practical experiences. And third, in case if you feel that this is not your right decision or right profession for you, change it. Don't remain a cribbing person in the system. Don't abuse that the world is bad, the courts are bad, the lawyers are bad, systems are bad, education is bad, etc. No, 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 no. Don't be a cribber. Find a solution. Move in that direction.
Thank you so much, sir. This particular last statement, that don't be a cribber and rather always find opportunities, is filled with optimism and hope.
Yeah.
And I am sure that when this interview goes out to young minds, this would be the new mantra with which we can all motivate ourselves in our highs and lows. Sir, it has been an amazing experience today, getting to know so much from you. It is such a rare opportunity to meet and to interact with people who have so much of experience. The person who has seen technological change, social change over a huge span in India and abroad. And getting to know these things firsthand from you has been an enlightening experience for me. For the entire Super Lawyers team, I express my gratitude on behalf of my entire team. And thank you so much for giving us time and addressing all these important issues. And it was a lovely experience, sir. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure. My pleasure. And as a parting note, I'll say that years of experience has got no meaning. It can be repeated years of experience. It is the wisdom which is more important. And I try to learn from youngsters, and it's called reverse mentoring nowadays. The young people have better wisdom. As per the Darwin, it's an evolution, which means younger generation is more intelligent than the previous generation. So learn from the youngsters. Youngsters are better people to learn rather than the old people. So we have crossed that age, and it may be repeated years of experience rather than incremental years of experience. So thank you very much for the time. Thank you for having me here. I wish good luck to Super Lawyer team. And I think that the way you are trying to bring the experiences of more people, senior people, junior people, or from different field, it is going to be helpful for all the legal fraternity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.